calls a complete maritime blockade on tankers transporting Venezuelan energy. President Nicolas Maduro has sent a formal letter to the United Nations and regional leaders, warning that U.S. actions threaten regional stability and global energy security. Maduro said the blockade could disrupt oil supplies, fuel international market instability, and damage economies across Latin America, the Caribbean, and beyond. He called for unity to confront what he described as U.S. military threats and acts of piracy. Venezuelan Foreign Minister Yvonne Gil read the letter on state television, warning that unilateral U.S. actions violate international law and human rights. The UN Security Council is set to hold an emergency meeting on the Venezuela situation. The crisis escalated after President Donald Trump ordered a full blockade of sanctioned tankers and deployed warships and thousands of troops to the Caribbean. Venezuela has accused Washington of seeking regime change and called the tanker interception piracy. Raymond Vickery joins us once again. Of course, this situation seems to be escalating by the day, Raymond. Venezuela now going to the United Nations and United Nations Security Council emergency meeting to be held. Of course, the United States is a permanent member. Do you expect anything to come out of that letter that Maduro has penned to the UN?
Well, thanks for allowing me to comment on this, Thomas. The basic problem here is similar to that which we just discussed domestically, and that is that President Trump and his administration have no respect for rule of law. You know, to wage peace, to have peace and prosperity, you have to wage it like you wage a war, and that is you have to have a strategy, you have to have partners, and you have to base it on principles. Unfortunately, President Trump has none of these. His view is an old-time 19th century view of empire building, of having rights in the Western Hemisphere. He views it in terms of the 19th century, where you had great powers and they had empires. But unfortunately, that does not lead to peace and stability. What it leads to is what it led to in the 20th century, which is war, World War I, World War II. Maduro is not a character to be praised by any means. On the other hand, it is absolutely necessary that we get away from this unilateral approach of the Trump administration and have some semblance of the rule of law, the principles of the United Nations Charter, which have largely kept the peace since World War II. The Trump attack on Maduro is really a throwback to empire building and has implications far beyond Venezuela. Our Secretary of State, Rubio, of course, is very much interested in bringing down Cuba at the same time, and the oil which was coming from Venezuela was in part going to Cuba. So this is a very disconcerting approach to international affairs, but one which is a part of the Trump approach to domestic and international matters, in that he sees himself as a great man, unrestrained really by law and principles of international justice. So it is encouraging that this will go to the United Nations, but President Trump has made it very plain that he does not view the United Nations really as a legitimate body, that this multilateralism is in derogation of America first, and an approach which is a throwback to might is right rather than an international rule of law.
Raymond Vickery, as always, it's an